Hi, everybody. This is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is a Q&A episode. So let's actually get started, shall we? So, Luke Zilla, your first question. Is it really a good idea to bring back prehistoric animals? Wouldn't it have any bad effects on nature now? So, what he's talking about is de-extinction. So, bringing extinct animals back to be filled to actually be brought back into in terms of their niche in nature. And so I think there's good things about it, like bringing back the thylacine or the Tasmanian tiger or wolf. I think that does need to be brought back because in Tasmania there is a very big ecological niche that is missing, and that is the big predator. And the big predator is supposed to control all the prey that is actually there. And because if you look at what's going on in Tasmania, Tasmania is having wildlife is having some pretty big problems. For majority of the marsupials, a lot of them are actually having that fungal infection and virus that is actually going around there too. And that is going around, and I think the the thylacine does need to be brought back in order to fill in the niche. Like woolly mammoths, I think woolly mammoths do need to be brought back because they're supposed to keep the earth cool enough to be able to keep the permafrost into the ground, because that's what the mammoths are supposed to be there for, and all that. But bringing back other types of animals, it all depends though. I would still say that if you're bringing back a mega predator, say a saber-toothed cat, where are you going to put it? That's always going to be the question. Where are you going to put it? I don't think you're going to put it in Africa because first and foremost, that's going to drive away the lions, and also it's going to drive away the hyenas. And also how are you going to do it? How are you going to handle that? How are you going to handle a saber-toothed cat? That's always going to be the question. And but yeah, I would say certain types of predators you have to be careful with, but with say the vegetarian animals, you can bring them back because they do have a niche that is there for them to actually be able to handle. And so there's good things and bad things with it, but I wouldn't go as far as say it's the Ian Malcolm type of thing, but I would probably say that in terms of chaos theory, but I would probably say that you have to choose which ones you need to be brought back into the ecological niche. That's my point of view about that. All right, your next one, Luke, is who would win, Quincana or Postosuchus? So Quincana, for many of you, is a prehistoric crocodile that lived in Australia around the Pliocene and Pleistocene. And it's a crocodile that is able to live on land. Because if you actually look at the proportion of how its body is designed, its legs are kind of underneath its body. They're not splayed out like most crocodilians are today. And then you got Postosuchus, which is an Archosaurian carnivore from the Triassic period. Fossils are found in Arizona and New Mexico. And so with this type of fight, I would probably say that because get that out of the way. These two never met each other, and of course they never lived alongside each other in the same periods or epochs. It's totally different. But if they ever, let's say if they did face off, Postosuchus would have the agility in hand. It would have the agility. It would have the bigger teeth. I think Quincana would have the better bite force, and it's got the armor, but I would probably have to go with Quincana on this one. Quincana would have the stronger bite force, and of course it would actually be able to withstand some of the bites of Postosuchus. And since that Postosuchus does not have teeth that are designed to go through armor, so that's going to be a tough thing for Postosuchus. So I would probably say 75% Quincana, 25% Postosuchus in this one. All right, Nick, your first one. Was wondering if you know any other adult and juvenile T-Rex fossils have been discovered so far, and how many are in museums and in private hands. Seems many are being sold in the black market and in auctions. And what do you think of the this? Seem they could help with the juvenile T-Rex Nanotyrannus debate. Well, with the juvenile T-Rex fossils, in terms of like adult ones too, it's hard to determine how many there really are, because we could give a really good estimate of like ones that are in museum collections. Like right now, there's close to 50 specimens of T-Rex, and this would include adults and juveniles. And so in terms of like which ones have been sold in the black market, I mean, that's hard. That is very, very hard. But like fossils do make a big punk of profit, especially to ones that are willing to sell for a huge amount of money. Now, do I agree with auctioning off like big big dinosaur fossils, reptile fossils, mammal, fish fossils? I don't. I would say those should be in museum, should be handled by scientists, and those can be determined if it's a new species or a very important specimen for like discussion in terms of like completeness and any other types of factors. And so, yeah, that one's questionable. And how would it actually handle how would it like do with the Nanotyrannus juvenile T-Rex debate? Hard to tell. Very hard to tell. Because like I said, I'm open-minded on that, and so I would probably say that to be determined. And then your next one, Nick, was wondering which T-Rex in Jurassic Park or World movies is your favorite, and how large they are compared to and how they are in real life. And if I remember, in both Jurassic Park and the novels, they were 20 feet tall and over 40 feet long. And could a real-life T-Rex ever get 20 feet tall, or is that stretching it? And so in terms of your first one, so what is my favorite T-Rex amongst the Jurassic Park / World movie franchise? Now, Rexy, I like Rexy in the 1993 Jurassic Park. But my favorite T-Rex in the Jurassic Park / World franchise is the buck or male T-Rex in Lost World Jurassic Park. I just think the color scheme is just so cool. The green, and also with the darker green stripes. Like, it almost looks like a real animal. You know, it almost looks like an actual animal that is in the movie screen that you're watching, and it's amazing. I love the design of the buck Rex. You know, that's my favorite Rex. I would say that's my favorite Rex. Rexy would be right there too, because Rexy is also always going to be there. Now, do I like the design of how Rexy is in Jurassic World? No. I'd say they should have made it a little bit more like close to the actual design from the original movie. But yeah, I mean, but Rexy's still up there. In terms of could a T-Rex get 20 feet tall? Well, I want to point this out, is before Jurassic Park, before 1985, Tyrannosaurus Rex skeletons were posed in an upright position, so more of a vertical stance, and their tail had been dragging on the ground. And so when those skeletons were mounted in the museums, they had them in that vertical stance. And a lot of times when they were determining height for a dinosaur, it was basically from foot to the top of the head. And so with a T-Rex, it was 18 to 20 feet tall. And so that's probably why you get a 20-foot tall T-Rex in the Jurassic franchise. But in real life, Tyrannosaurus Rex can actually only get right now, so far right now, is 13 to 14 feet tall. And so that's kind of pushing it, because you see, since the 1980s, T-Rex's stance has been getting their heads getting lower and lower and lower, closer towards the ground, and having a more horizontal type of position. And so you kind of see is that, like, when you see a skeleton in most paleo art right now, is that T-Rex's head and tail are almost in the same line. And so the vertebrae is just going in a straight line horizontally. And so could a T-Rex get 20 feet tall? That is stretching it to me. That is stretching it. Because I'd say if a T-Rex can get 20 feet tall, like, that Rex would have to be over 50, at least 50 or just over 50 feet long. And right now we don't have a T-Rex that is going to be that big right now. Now, I know there's many of you that are going to say, like, the Cope specimen, but remember, the Cope specimen is only a partial specimen. It is a partial specimen. Almost at least, probably close to 1% of that skeleton has been found, of that Rex. And so they're only basing it off of the hip bones and part of the femur. So that does not count. That does not count. And so there needs to be more of that specimen in order for me to say that is the biggest Rex. And so right now, Scotty and Sue take up the spot right now as the biggest T-Rexes so far that we know in terms of museum collections. So the Cope specimen, that is to be determined. So all of you are going to say, "Oh, what about the Cope Rex? What about the Cope Rex?" Just hear me out on this. This is only a partial specimen. And so the estimates right now are just basically not enough to actually showcase that this is a humongous specimen. Now, the pelvic region of Cope, yes, it's huge and it's bigger than Scotty's and Sue's, but that does not mean it's going to be big, like much, much bigger. I need vertebrae. I need a skull. I need more of the legs. I need a tail. I need more. That's what a lot of paleontologists that study Tyrannosaurs are saying, the same thing. I need more of that specimen. Need more. Like, can there be like more vertebrae? Can there be a skull? Can there be a little bit more of the tail? Could there be more of the legs that are going to be found? That's what I want to see. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But like the T-Rex, for a T-Rex to be 20 feet tall, like I said, it would have to be over 50 feet in order to reach that height. So in terms of the Jurassic Park Rexes, they're oversized, but they're still cool nonetheless. But good questions there, Nick. All right, Alex, your question. Do you think that larger Mesozoic predators were capable of making infrasonic sounds? This is a good question. I would say yes, because when you think about it, the Mesozoic theropods, the large theropods, their hearing is capable of picking up low-frequency sounds. And if you look at crocodiles, they produce infrasound. And when you watch like a male like alligator or a male crocodile, and they're doing like territorial disputes, you see them puff up their abdomen, puff up like their backs, and then they dip them, and they slowly dip them down back in the water, and then they make those like really gurgling sounds or that growling sound, and you see the water just bouncing off their back. That is the infrasound, and that is awesome to see. And also birds can produce infrasonic sound too, because they actually have the hearing capable of hearing infrasonic sounds. So if you're basing off of what birds and crocodile hearing is, then say yes. Because since that birds are theropod dinosaurs, I'd say yes. They are capable of producing infrasonic sounds. Because remember, infrasound Us humans, we cannot hear that. We would need special equipment in order to actually be able to hear it. And so, yeah, I'd say the large theropods in the Mesozoic were capable of producing infrasound. But that's a really good question, Alex. I do like that question. All right, Benjamin. First question, is Andrewsarchus the largest terrestrial mammalian carnivore? Not anymore. There is a bear that is bigger than Andrewsarchus. It's a South American version of the short-faced bear. That one is larger than Andrewsarchus. And so Andrewsarchus was like touted as the largest mammalian carnivore for a long time. But when the South American short-faced bear has been discovered, that kind of pretty much pushed Andrewsarchus down in terms of overall size. Now there's a little bit of debate going around about this like hyenodon like creature that is found in Africa. Could that be larger than that bear? But that is still be determined, because all they found is a little bit as like the mandible or the lower jaw, and I think a couple of vertebrae. There is nothing to be determined. There's not really that much to determine if that one was bigger or not. But I would say it's that short-faced bear from South America. That would be the largest mammalian carnivore. Could Torvosaurus take down big sauropods like Camarasaurus and Apatosaurus? Yes, it can. Now, Torvosaurus, like most other large theropod dinosaurs, they're not going to go after the adults. Healthy adults are not ones to be messed around with. They're going to go after the juveniles and the very weak. So like very old or sick individuals, that's what they're going to go after. And so Torvosaurus is going to do the same thing. It could also go after Diplodocus. It could actually go after juvenile versions of Brachiosaurus. I mean, like any sauropod that was around during the late Jurassic period and the Morrison Formation. So yeah, that would definitely be possible for Torvosaurus to go after sauropods. Are Tyrannosaurs the most dangerous of all large meat-eating dinosaurs? I don't know. That one would be determined as well. I would say what defines dangerous in terms of like, are you talking about aggression, or are you talking about like in terms of like if you'd step back in time and you actually encountered like Tyrannosaurs during the late Cretaceous period, like either in Asia or in North America, what would they do if they actually saw us? I think first and foremost, they would just avoid us mostly, because first and foremost, like the adults, they're not going to go after us. Juveniles, they'll be scared of. The juveniles they'll be scared of because they're fast, and also they're able to catch anything that is actually as big as them. Now, bigger than a human, that's where say as tall as like a rhinoceros or like an elephant type of Tyrannosaurs. Those ones, they would just avoid us because I mean, we're just a tiny snack compared to like say anything that is actually large enough for them to eat. So like the ceratopsians, the hadrosaurs, and chylosaurs, occasionally a sauropod, but yeah, I mean I would say like in terms of dangerous and overall, I would say dangerous. That depends on what your definition of dangerous is in terms of a tyrannosaur. And then your final one, who would win, Centrosaurus or Styracosaurus? So these two dinosaurs lived nearly around the same time, and they're actually they're kind of almost similar. They got a single horn on the nose, but Centrosaurus's nose horn is a bit shorter than Styracosaurus's, but also can it goes up and then it kind of makes a little bit of a curve forward, whereas Styracosaurus's is a little bit more vertical and kind of goes a little bit backwards. And so, but also Styracosaurus has got more horn ornamentation on its frill, whereas Centrosaurus has got very little horn ornamentation on its frill. But they're very similar in size too. So I would probably say this one is to be determined, but I'd probably say this is going to be very evenly matched. But I think Centrosaurus is a little bit more a bit more powerful in terms of strength, because I think Centrosaurus is a little bit more stocky than Styracosaurus. Nothing to take away from Styracosaurus. I think Styracosaurus is a cool ceratopsian. It's a really, really cool ceratopsian. I just love the skull of Styracosaurus. I'd probably say 51% Centrosaurus and 49% Styracosaurus. It's very close. Very, very close. All right, that's all the questions I got for you today. Next episode would be a special episode to let you guys know what kind of prehistoric animal I'm going to talk about, so stay tuned for that. Or it could be an extra episode. I think it's an extra episode. Yeah, I think it's going to be an extra episode. So next week would be an extra episode. Sorry about that, guys. So it's an extra episode. Let you guys know what kind of topic I'm going to talk about for the extra episode. And if you if you got any more questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life, feel free to do so. So you feel free to send your questions via email at dinochrist71@gmail.com. Also go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you actually post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them in Messenger. Messengers are private conversations. And so make sure you put your questions in the comment section on any Facebook post. And for YouTubers out there, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel. According to my analytics, a lot of you guys are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet. So please feel free to hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button. The more likes the video gets, the more likely it gets shared to people that are interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. And also share the video, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs and other prehistoric life. Feel free to do so. And also you can hit that notification bell so that way you can get weekly videos that comes out every single week, because I do weekly videos. I don't do videos every single day or every other day. That's too much for me to handle. So every weekly episodes. And also for you YouTubers out there, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section, because I do read them all. Your questions do mean a lot in these Q&A episodes. All of you are sending me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. You're giving me some great questions for these Q&A episodes. So keep up the great work, and also make sure you keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Threads. It's the same thing at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of the people around you, and also for you younger people out there, and it makes a list of your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. That's it for now. I'll see you guys next week.